Elisabeth Anne Broderick, born November 7, 1947, is an American woman who was convicted of killing her ex-husband, Daniel T. Broderick III, and his second wife, Linda Broderick, on November 5, 1989. At a second trial on December 11, 1991, she was convicted of 2 counts of second-degree murder and later sentenced to 32 years to life in prison. The case received extensive media attention and was extremely controversial. Several books were written on the Broderick case, and a TV movie was televised in 2 parts. In 2020, an 8-episode miniseries was produced and aired about Betty. Early life. Betty Broderick was born Elisabeth Anne Bisceglia in 1947 and grew up in Bronxville, New York. She was the third of 6 children born to devout Roman Catholic parents Marita and Frank Bisceglia, who owned a successful plastering business with relatives. Her mother was Irish-American and her father was Italian-American. The Bisceglias were strict parents, and much was expected of all the Bisceglia children. As Broderick later recalled, she was being trained to be a housewife since the day she was born, or as she recalled, go to Catholic schools, be careful with dating until you find a Catholic man, support him while he works, be blessed in your later years with beautiful grandchildren. This Catholic upbringing was bolstered by the booming American economy in the 1950s, when parents could reasonably expect that a man could maintain the expected standard of living and support a family on one income. Broderick graduated from Maria Regina High School in 1965. She attended and later graduated from the College of Mount St. Vincent in the Bronx, where she earned a degree in early childhood education through an accelerated program. Her credits also earned her a minor in English. Engagement and marriage. In 1965, Broderick met her future husband, Dan Broderick, at the University of Notre Dame. Dan was born in Pittsburgh, the eldest son of a very large Irish Catholic family similar to the Bisceglias. The couple married on April 12, 1969 at the Immaculate Conception Church in Tuckahoe, New York. Broderick returned from the honeymoon pregnant with their first child, daughter Kim. She gave birth to 4 more children, daughter Lee, sons named Daniel and Rhett, and an unnamed boy, who died 4 days after birth. Marriage breakdown. After Kim's birth, Dan completed his MD degree. He then announced his intention to combine his medical expertise with a law degree and enrolled at Harvard Law School. Betty was the main provider for the family while Dan attended law school with the help of a student loan. Dan was quickly hired by a law firm in San Diego, California, and moved his family to the San Diego suburb of La Jolla. Broderick continued working part-time, often selling Tupperware or Avon products while raising the children as a stay-at-home mom. In the fall of 1982, Dan hired 21-year-old Linda Coquina, a former Delta Airlines flight attendant, to be his legal assistant. As early as October 1983, Broderick suspected that Dan was having an extramarital affair with Coquina. Dan denied having an affair with Coquina. Against Broderick's wishes, Dan moved out in February 1985. He eventually took custody of their children after Broderick left the children on his doorstep one by one. Dan confessed to Broderick that he had in fact been having an affair with Coquina, and a long, drawn-out, and extremely hostile divorce ensued. Broderick versus Broderick became one of the more infamous divorce cases in the U.S., primarily because of issues involving women who had worked while putting their husbands through graduate and professional school. By this time, Daniel Broderick had become a very prominent local lawyer, serving as the president of the San Diego Bar Association. During this period, Dan was referring to himself as the Count Du Money. Betty claimed that Dan made it extremely difficult for Betty to find a lawyer willing to represent her in the divorce, which put her at a distinct disadvantage. Betty also believed that Dan used his legal influence to win sole custody of their children, sell their house against her wishes, and bilk her out of her rightful share of his income. The divorce was finalized in 1989. 4 years after Dan filed the petition, Betty Broderick's behavior became increasingly violent and irrational. She left hundreds of profane messages on Dan's answering machine, and ignored numerous restraining orders that forbade her from setting foot on Dan's property. She vandalized his new home, and even drove her car into his front door despite the fact that their children were inside the house at the time. On April 22, 1989, Dan and Coquina were married. Coquina had been concerned about Broderick's behavior and even urged Dan wear a bulletproof vest to their wedding. However, Broderick did not arrive, and the wedding proceeded without incident. After the wedding, Betty Broderick claimed that Linda Broderick taunted her by mailing her facial cream and slimming treatment ads. Murders. 8 months after buying a Smith & Wesson revolver and 7 months after Dan and Linda were married, Betty Broderick drove to Dan's house at 1041 Cypress Avenue in the Marston Hills neighborhood near Balboa Park in San Diego. Broderick used a key that she had stolen from her daughter Lee to enter the house while the couple slept. she shot and killed them. The murders occurred at 5:30 a.m. on Sunday, November 5, 1989, 2 days before Betty's 42nd birthday. 2 bullets hit Linda in the head and chest, killing her instantly. 1 bullet hit Dan in the chest as he apparently was reaching for a phone. 1 bullet hit the wall, and 1 bullet hit a nightstand. Dan was 44, Linda was 28. Evidence was presented at her trial that Betty had removed a phone answering machine from Dan Broderick's bedroom so that he could not call for help. Medical evidence indicated that Dan had not died right away, and Betty admitted that he had spoken to her after she had shot him. After contacting her daughter Lee and Lee's boyfriend, Broderick turned herself into police, never denying that she had indeed pulled the trigger 5 times. Broderick's explanation at both trials was that she never planned to kill Dan and Linda and that her crime was not premeditated. Her account of the murders at her second trial was that she was startled by Kokina screaming, "Call the police," and immediately fired the gun. Linda and Dan Broderick are listed as having been buried together at Greenwood Memorial Park in San Diego. Trials. Attorney Jack Early represented Broderick at trial. Carrie Wells prosecuted for the state of California. Broderick's defense was that she had been a battered wife, claiming that she was driven over the edge by years of psychological, physical, and mental abuse at the hands of her ex-husband. Wells portrayed Broderick as a murderer who planned and schemed to kill her ex-husband and argued to the jury that Broderick was not a battered woman. Dr. Park Dietz, for the prosecution, used the analysis of Dr. Melvin Goldsband, who previously worked on the case for the prosecution. Dietz said Broderick has histrionic and narcissistic personality disorders. Broderick's first trial ended with a hung jury when 2 of the jurors held out for manslaughter. Citing lack of intent, a mistrial was declared by Judge Thomas J. Whelan. Betty Broderick was retried a year later with the same defense attorney and prosecutor. The second trial was essentially a replay of the first trial. Wells was successful the second time around. The jury returned a verdict of 2 counts of second-degree murder. Broderick was sentenced to 2 consecutive terms of 15 years to life plus 2 years for illegal use of a firearm, the maximum under the law. She's been incarcerated since the day she committed the murders. Broderick is serving her sentence at the California Institution for Women, in Chino, California. In January 2010, her first request for parole was denied by the Board of Parole Hearings because she did not show remorse and did not acknowledge wrongdoing. She was denied parole in November 2011 and again in January 2017. She will not be eligible again until January 2032.